Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.
Oh, I hear you perfect.
Oh, man. All right, you good to go?
I'm fucking good to go.
All right, so, yeah, we're rolling. You found the place.
I finally got out here. I'm a little fairly familiar with Coriopolis. Not as much as I used to in recent years and stuff, but like, you know.
Well, you were telling me you went to school here, right?
I went right up the hill. I was with the nuns.
Our Lady of the Sacred Heart.
All the nuns.
I was a Cornell grad, so there's a little bit of, you know.
Oh, there's rivalry there.
Long time before you, but I was a Cornell grad way back in '83.
Oh yeah, this is the backyard brawl up here.
Yeah, but you guys got really, over time, Sacred Heart got really good at sports. It wasn't always like that in the late '70s, early '80s.
Oh, I would have graduated in '05 from our Olsh or whatever if I'd have finished it up there. If I would have finished and stuff.
They kicked you out.
They did kick me out, actually.
They haven't. See?
Yeah. I was booted. I was not a practicing Catholic. I wasn't up to the standards the way they needed me to be.
So when you were there, was there nuns teaching?
Oh yeah, there's never not.
Really?
I went to Catholic grade school at Elizabeth Seton Elementary. That's over in Sheridan, which no longer exists.
Okay.
So that's a good start.
Okay.
And then eventually everybody makes the decision to either go to the public school over there, or they'll go to Canavan, or they'll go to Olsh. So it's like you're forking in one way or the other.
Well, Canavan was kind of like the high rent district, I remember, compared to like Sacred. It was all high rent compared to
they're top
public
tier.
school, right? Of course. And of all public schools, I was going to Cornell, which that's on a lower tier of public school. Sorry.
Oh, I went to Carleton afterwards and stuff. So it's
then
like,
you understand completely.
I love the idea. Yeah. The place is famous for Bill Cowher. That'll never be. They'll hold on to that with a kung fu grip.
That's all they got.
Yeah, we have. I live in Crafton, so they have Cowher Way.
Oh, that's right. Someone told me there's a. Is that an alley?
I know they couldn't have. It's not a main boulevard. It's not a something. It's just some rinky-dink something in the back part hidden. It's like, yeah, the legend grows, but it's up there or whatever. So, but they hang on to Bill Cowher more or less than anything from being there.
Yeah, he's going to the Hall of Fame, I think, this weekend or something. I think I'm not the biggest pro football fan. I pay attention, but.
I think it goes football, hockey, then miscellaneous, whatever the hell else.
So for you.
For me personally.
Yeah, baseball is the top tier, although it's hard being in Pittsburgh to like baseball. But.
I have an ignorant joke about the Pirates and how I swear
Let's hear it.
No, they are the Make-A-Wish team of the MLB and stuff. I swear it's a wonder they're holding the bats the right way. Like the bat boy must be handing it to him and stuff. He's like, I know how to hold it. He's holding the fat end and shit. You know?
Oh man, it's brutal. And it's funny. We keep making excuses. Like I think all the diehard baseball fans in town that want like real baseball so bad, we keep making excuses like it's gonna get better. It's gonna, or they see a little glimmer of hope in somebody or something, or we have the best. This whole line of we have the best stadium. Can't use that 20 years in, man. I'm sorry.
We dare to dream around here. But like, just imagine, what was it? How many years back or whatever we made the wild card when we were playing against, I want to say the Giants, I want to say, and they whooped us.
Yeah, they crushed us.
It was crazy because everybody in the stadium had no idea how to handle it. They're just looking at each other like, do we wave a towel? Do we throw a beer? What do we do? Nobody had any idea how to handle it. Nobody had ever seen it in their lifetime and stuff.
I'm old enough to remember the late 70s and then 79 World Series. I remember that as a kid, and that's that's how far back for me it went when they were a winning team. I mean, they had 3 playoff appearances in 90, 91, and 92, I think, and they lost all 3 of those.
Oh, they were probably overshadowed by the Penguins because we were running amok at the early 90s.
Yeah, that was going on for sure.
Oh,
yeah, that was going on for sure. It's just this town's just got an interesting love-hate relationship with the Pirates, and I will tell you, even in their heyday of the 70s, 71, 79, and Pirates played well in that decade, but even in their heyday, you would go to games and there'd still be 12,000, 11,000, 16,000 people. That's it. 9,000. It didn't matter. This town never packed them in for the Pirates.
No, of course not. If you see dude, a buddy of mine still loves the Pirates. What I'm just like, all right, everybody has a hobby. I get it.
Everybody's out there.
Yeah, and he'll tell me, he's just like, dude, I got these free tickets to the Pirates. I was just like, I'm busy that day. I didn't give you a date. I was just like, yeah, I know, I'm pretty busy. It's like, even then, it's just like, you could go. I love the idea of the fact that they're still cheap. I mean, you break a 20 to go to a Pirates game. Like, it's crazy. And you go sit in the bench seat. I'm trying to think, like, way up, I want to say, up the left side of the field.
They call it Clementi's Cove or something.
Yeah, it's just like the row of benches and stuff right there, whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's
they're
still a good. You can see everything in there. It doesn't matter where you sit. It's a great park, but you got to get past that at some point.
It is very well put together and stuff. The location's great.
Yeah, the skyline. But here's the thing: there's no winning going on. There's just, I mean, it's amazing to me because the highlight of the 20 years the Pirates were in there apparently is one game where the opposing pitcher dropped the ball because he supposedly was nervous because the crowd was so into it. That's all they hang their hat on in 20 years of baseball.
It's surreal.
It's unbelievable. Surreal. Yeah. Anyways, the Pirates are. We could do a whole show on the freaking Pirates.
You do a side project and shit, and just talking shit on the Pirates or hoping.
That's not actually
hoping
a pretty
for the best.
good idea. That podcast would probably have some legs, maybe.
I'll bet somebody needs to get
an
legs.
Anti-pirate podcast that did nothing but literally just exploited how piss poor they were every show.
Yeah, I mean, they just what was that play that happened like. The famous one.
The fan, one of the two.
The yeah. Yeah, that famous play where the guy was supposed to run him. He ran him down and set it around. It's like, that guy is going to die with that.
Worst play in Major League Baseball history, some historians are saying.
If not, I'd come to that conclusion regardless. Like, no matter what. Watching that play or whatever, it's just a simple... I don't know where the guy was. I'm sure he's talked to it to the point of nauseum by now. Yeah. But just being like, I should have touched the goddamn bag. I don't know what I was doing.
Well, I'm 20 years your senior, generally speaking. So in your generation of folks, not growing up, even ever seeing winning baseball, it's got to be a stretch for you folks even to dig it, man. Unless you were raised by a father figure, generally, who just instilled baseball when you were very, 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 very young. I would imagine it's hard to like, not knowing winning, it's almost like, what the fuck are they really doing over there in that park? Because, like, why should we pay attention to that?
No, you wouldn't. That's what I mean. Whenever I would go to a Pirates game, everybody's getting just loose in the parking lot. So, like, by the time it just helps curb the eventual loss. So I don't think I would be out. I'd probably be boozing in the parking lot, go in at like the bottom of the third, leave at like the top of the seventh. I'm just like, I know how this fucking happens. I know what this is all about. You've seen it once, you've seen it a million times and shit. So it's just like, you don't have anything to get behind. You're just not
year in and year out, same thing. And it's funny, man.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel either.
No, there's not, and it's at some point in time. At some point, there has to be a point where people get off. Like, I've ridden the bus for 20 years, can't take it anymore. I'm going to step off. But they seem to draw the same kind of volume every year, and I guess the owner's just laughing his ass off, right?
That bus is driving into the river.
But the owner's making money on it, so I don't know.
I mean, sure. He's doing his thing.
Hey, one thing before we get to, I want to talk a little bit about your journey in comedy, but, I said this to a buddy of mine years ago. I said, when I'd gone to PNC Park in like the mid-2000s for the first time, and it had been a while since I'd been to a Pirate game, period. Probably the last time I'd been to a Pirate game was the early 90s up to that point. And I'm sitting there like third base line, good seats, and in between the innings, there's just all this craziness going on. There's lights and boom, 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 music and like, scantily clad, girls running, ball girls running around, and everybody's getting fired up. And I'm observing all this. Like by the third inning, I leaned over to him. I said, Bill, when did going to a Pirate game turn into a Kiss concert? Like my senses are being like obliterated.
How are y'all feeling out there? Huh? Yeah, just getting them jazzed
up.
But
I mean, but I guess that's what it became to keep the people interested in the pace of everything. It just changed.
You got to take a different route. One's not doing it, so you got to figure. It's like, all right, what else can we throw at him to try to get him some type of goosed up? You know what I mean? Anything.
Here's more liquor.
Yeah, it's just like, here, you're loading a gun.
Oh man! All right, comedy. So, how'd that journey start for you, man?
Jesus Christ. I think one of my earliest renditions or something is, so I was raised by a single mom.
Right.
So the earliest time I could remember was me and my mom were driving, and we were probably at a family vacation of something. Just the two of us bouncing ideas off each other.
Okay.
A very young age, and we were listening to. She had a Jeff Foxworthy tape.
Oh, right on.
Right
That's that
there.
country guy, right?
Yeah. He's smarter than third graders or fifth graders or somebody. He's trying to really give him something. But we're listening to it, and I can't remember the CD. I can't remember the album or whatever. But he tells jokes during it, and he also kind of like does like a refrain where there's music involved and this and that and stuff.
Okay.
There was one joke that I still remember that stands out to me. He's talking about like a house party or something, and the cops show up, and he's yelling at the cops or whatever. He's like, "Hey, Officer O'Donohue, I thought you said you didn't want to come back out here this evening." He's like, "Actually, I'm glad you're here. I'd like to report a crime. Larry just puked in the aquarium." He's like, "Feel free to use your gun." But I just remember that was probably my first launch of just like, I like hearing it. I liked being involved. I mean, I was an SNL fan growing up in the 90s. How could you not be?
Yeah,
you know?
Right on.
So, never too much like a sketch comedy guy. I'm happy that finally stuff's opening back up so that we can get the interaction. I miss the interaction. That's what drives me now is get the response, get the crowd wound up.
So how did you do any Zoom comedy?
I couldn't. I didn't have the strength. There's no way. I don't want to bomb to static.
Bomb. Okay.
Just watching just like say the punchline, keep looking over, like doing double takes, looking at the computer screen, like.
Did you?
There's no emojis. They're lifeless.
Did you go to anyone else's show or attend anyone else's show virtually to observe it?
It's all word of mouth. I just kept hearing from people and stuff, and it's
bizarre.
like, but I thought it was crazy for anybody who was getting into comedy during the height or during the whole stretch of the thing, where it was just like all they know is Zoom comedy. So then the leap was to go from talking into a computer to now talking to people. To getting the actual like that very
instant
second
feedback, right?
Yeah, you get that it's like, oh, that landed the way I wanted it to, or that setup's. I get them on the setup even just bringing like a simple topic or comment. They're just like, oh yeah, this guy. Hey, sit on. But like the actual interaction is what you want.
Yeah.
It's like thinking of music and stuff or whatever. It's like they were doing concerts, an ex of mine and stuff.
For a short period of time, you see how like at the beginning of the pandemic, bands were, we're all gung ho, we're going to do this. And that it kind of like lost its vigor like 2 months in, didn't it?
Do you want to watch the entire performance of the Rolling Stones, whatever album and stuff on the computer? Or do you want to get up there where you can feel the vibrations of it? It's like it's like I can taste that guy. I'm so close. I can the sweat and the
that's part of rock and roll, man.
Yeah, you gotta have it. So longest I did not do the Zoom stuff. I did kind of do like some underground comedy stuff like during whatever because like what was it like during I think we had like June or something. They kind of let us off the leash a little bit. So you had like a month of being able to kind of feel it out or something, and they immediately just like, nope, you abused it. No, just ripping it back. Just like, we
may be headed there again at the time of this filming.
That's what I understand. Oh yeah, this is going to be documented as this is going to be a docu-series.
We're cool with that. The phenomenon of driving comedy was a thing for a while. Did you observe any of that going on? Beeping the horn.
Oh yeah, no. I was never enough to get in front of people in like a drive-through or they were trying. I remember somebody's putting a show together where it was drive-through comedy, where it's like
wait, what?
The idea was hilarious.
Okay,
I wasn't a part of it and stuff, but I saw it was like something where it's like some restaurant or some bar or whatever and stuff because you were doing curbside pickup.
Okay.
So you couldn't go into the place. You had to go and place your order, do whatever, come pick up. It's like, is that my ribs? All right, thanks. And then somebody set up something where they would come and they would drive and get it, and then they give you 5 minutes of comedy, which sounds. There should be no other response than that. That's the exact response that you should get from that. It's like, I should be able to hear your eyes roll. All right?
Right on.
But
right on.
I can't fault it because you didn't know. It's just like people are creating avenues, doing whatever they think might work or what they can get out of it and stuff. So, it's like you're trying to experiment. Unfortunately, believe it or not, it didn't quite get the legs it wanted to. But like they were, I also couldn't imagine the idea of like somebody pulling up and just be like, order 37. By the way, dating's weird, huh? You ever say just all Jay Leno bits and stuff, setting them up. It's like, you hear about this? Did you see this? You know about this? Or somebody just being like, yeah, can I just get my family's hungry? Can we just... No, I get it and stuff. Parking cones are crazy. Yeah. It's like just some shit like that. Just almost like forcing comedy on some... I will say that before that idea, I did kind of have a before I actually got into comedy.
Okay.
I think one of the other driving forces or whatever is like, when I was in college, I used to be a valet. So I would park people's cars or whatever, stuff like that.
Right on.
And it was like back before, Uber and Lyft was as popular as it was. So it's like, all you had was cabs. And they're always there when you don't need them and never there when you do.
Are they still a thing? I haven't seen a cab in a long time.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
Well, they were all driving up in like black... all black vehicles or whatever, stuff like that. So you're just like, oh, am I about to get MIB'd or something? It's like, who has this right here? It's just like, this is detail. This is security detail that drove up.
Yeah.
But the thing was, when we were very shisty when it comes to like because we would try to make a buck any way we could doing this stuff. Okay. But again, the fact was like taxis weren't really available all the time, and there was no Uber, there was no Lyft or anything like that. So I was working in the city. So a lot of these people are coming out of town for like, this is supposed to be their night.
Got it.
Like I'm working at like 5-star this, that, or whatever and stuff. It's like,
got it.
But when people were leaving, we kept talking to the hostess and whatever. She's just like, oh, they're going over to like the Wyndham, or they're going over to the Fairmont or whatever like that. And they'll just be like, hey, can you call us a taxi? And be like, where are you guys headed? They're just like, I'm probably going to the Fairmont. It's like, it's probably like what, 5 blocks away? Probably give you a ride, honestly. They're just like, you would do that? I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, I would. But it was really nice because like some people would either be going to the casino, they're going to the Pirates, or they're going to the stadium or something, they're going to the North Shore for something and stuff.
Right.
So my partner and me, they'd always have 2 of us. So I would always like give them a ride to whatever hotel they were doing, and usually it would just strike the conversation up. Like you and me are doing right now. Just bullshit with them, like, where are you from, out of town? What brings you to the restaurant? What are you doing? And then just kind of like noticing, I'm like, I don't want to say holding them hostage, but like I'm getting to the destination. But in the meanwhile, just bullshit, making small talk with them and kind of like working early bits or like an idea to see if like something has legs on it. So
just you're testing out your material.
Just talking to them a little bit, stuff like that. Yeah. It's like, women be shopping, right? You can't, from what I understand, you can't stop them from shopping. But like that was probably one of the earlier inclinations.
This is before you ever stepped on stage.
It was way before I ever had the stones to get up there and just eat it.
First gig. What made you take that first step?
I mean, I probably had the similar approach the same way as everybody else did. You go to the club, you go to the wherever the open mics happen, and you just kind of sit there in the shadows, just waiting.
Until you have the courage.
Until you finally just
or drink enough, one of the two.
Yeah, you got the plums big enough to get up there and just be like, hopefully it's like, this is funny to me. Let me see if they find anything out of this. But I think one of the first mics I ever did was down in Southside.
All right.
And it was at Dee's Cafe.
Okay.
So Dee's Cafe, I used to hang out there all the time. I'm not so much anymore. I used to call it the Star Wars bar.
Okay.
Because everybody in there is just like, has 13 tattoos, 42 piercings or something. It's like they should have a doorman checking you before you go in. There's an alien band in the back playing stuff. It's like there's creatures and species everywhere. I love that place. But like they had on the other side, there's the bar as soon as you come in, and then the other side they have the pool tables and kind of like the more open atmosphere and stuff. They had a mic there, and I'm trying to think of the one. I was trying to make a comparison to like, it was working out. It was like,
so it was off the cuff. You weren't sure what you were going to even say.
I had maybe, they gave you 5 minutes. I probably had a minute and a half at best. Okay. So the rest was going to be just riffing or something.
Okay.
But I remember it went so bad. It went horrible. There was a guy in the back. There was 2 people that managed to like work their way over from the bar, and they're listening. They're like older, late 40 something guys. They're all tuned up, and I'm going off on some like going nowhere premise and stuff. And I hear the guy in the back. He's just like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Which was just like, ugh, just like my knees should have buckled. But after that, I was just like, I gotta figure this. I gotta be more.
Okay.
I can't go in this just naked. I gotta have a game plan. There's no way. This is not gonna work. I can't have it. Like,
but you had the balls to go up that first time. So did you broke the courage cherry there, right?
It was enough to get me to stand in a corner of a room and try to spit whatever I thought was hilarious at the time.
Okay.
To no avail.
Okay, but you had not done serious writing at that point?
I had done. No. I did no writing at all. This was all literally like, it's all observation.
Okay.
Like something about, it's like my cousin's husband or something was like overweight at the time and bullshit about, it was like something about going to the gym. Where just like some guy comes up and he's asking me, he's like, what are you working out today? It's like, well, mostly self-esteem issues, but you got a machine that really hits and targets that? I know these things don't target a whole lot, but that was the best I had at the time. And the rest of it was just nonsense.
All right on.
I might as well have been drunk. So it's pretty fucking crazy, huh? Yeah, so nothing. Going nowhere.
But I mean, like, you step off there and you go home that evening. Was that like a big moment for you? Like, hey, I'm going to go do this again. I'm going to make a concerted effort to get my shit together and do this.
Oh, that was 100% cussing the windshield out on the car ride home. Just a shower thought that's going to creep into me later in life. It's like, who the fuck talks about shit like that? Why would you do that? Why the hell would you think that would work? Stupid. Just like, I'm Philip Seymour Hoffman in fucking Boogie Nights was like, stupid, so stupid, idiot. But yeah, eventually, yeah, you had to have a clear plan. I had to just be like, I mean, the point of going to the open mic is testing material out, but you have like an idea of what you're going to do. You have so most of the time and stuff, my writing process is like, I'll start with the punchline and then work my way back. It's like, how can I eventually get it around to where this is what I want it to be. This is where I want the laughter to come from, most of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I'll do it. I'll start from what I think the punchline is going to be. Because that's, you see something hilarious or whatever. It's just like, I don't know, a guy fell off a horse or something. Just be like, how can I get us to the part where the guy falls off the horse?
and keep them waiting
but
for
keep them entertained
along the way.
Until I get them there. Yeah, it's like, hey, hop in. Let's go for a ride.
All right, I get it. I get it. It's fascinating to me as someone who is not funny, not intentionally anyway. How it's crafted, like,
if you have the gift of bullshit.
Or do you... Some folks say they sit down and write. Take a concerted effort to write. Do you go on inspiration only?
I used to do the sit down and write thing. I used to do that where it's like eventually becomes like, I might as well have a whiteboard where I'm just like, all right, not here, but maybe we put it here, but then all right, here we could probably, and then all right, we got it. We just Tetris piecing, the bit out to the joke
visual,
or whatever.
Then.
Like,
that helps you.
Very visual. I would say absolutely visual with a lot of the stuff. So a lot of stuff is like, I mean, all my jokes are primarily observation.
Got it.
So it's like I was out in downtown and I saw a couple and this and that and whatever. But I couldn't. I tried to do the sit down and writing thing for a while, and eventually it just turns into like my phone just has bits in it that just go nowhere. It's it looks like the ramblings of a guy who just took a blow to the head. It's because like it seems like it's like I'll just wake up in the middle of the night or something like
that's hysterical.
And just write something down and then read it the next day and just being like it's an insane person. An insane person would think of this. Nobody who's got their shit together would write some fucking crap like this. So, but I do have like a shit ton of stuff that's still in there. But I'll approach them again, but I don't know when. But I think a lot of it's just like figure it out on stage.
Okay.
I love the idea of trying to get up there and figure it out on stage because I do enjoy the interaction with the audience.
That was my next
to try
question.
To get them...
So you're very participatory with your audience. Do you?
A little bit here and there, where I like to kind of like the idea of like crowd work. I like doing crowd work, but I don't do enough of it. But I think that's my next venture. Is to actually like talk to the crowd, get them interacted, because like otherwise, most of these open mics or whatever shit, your competition is the game on TV. So how can it's like I never
thought booze in their glass.
It's like, God damn it, I come up here and I'm competing with Wing Night. And they're damn good wings though, but shit. All right, here we go. But yeah, a lot of stuff is mainly figured out on stage.
Okay.
I mean, I have a basic idea for it of what I want, and I'll just talk it out as best I can. Because, you're working on timing, you're working on approach, you're working on like, how can I say this the best way? How can I do the punchline,
Right.
the punchline that I think works, to like tweaking it a little bit next time,
Right,
and then the time
right.
after that, and time after that, because no matter what, you're always gonna find something better. But I think the important thing is to just be like, all right, I gotta cap it. I like this where it's at. I'm sticking with this. This is the way I do it. In the moment while you're on stage talking to people and stuff, it could be different, but you already have the idea where you're just
Okay.
like, I'm going to do it this way. I
When
like
you
it.
do a set, like let's say you're going out and you're gonna you're gonna feature or you're gonna headline this particular event. You go there and you do it. So you have an X amount of, you have 20 minutes, you have 35 minutes, you have 15 minutes, 10, whatever it is. I've always fascinated by, some comedians will say they have that 15 minutes solid and they don't deviate too often because they know they can get from 0 to 15 smooth and done. And then I have some comedians that say, yeah, I'm right around 10 minutes, but I figured I'll figure out the last 5 as I go, and totally comfortable with that.
What, have you been reading my diary or something?
Nah, I'm just saying. I mean, like, what, where do you fit into that? Those two extremes.
I mean,
have you been in a circumstance where you're like, oh fuck, I got 3 minutes left, I got nothing?
oh, the best thing is whenever it's like, yeah, if you have to do whatever time you have to do or something, usually somebody, the light's what's important. It's like, all right, man, wrap it up. We got you. We're just like, it gives you like the time.
Okay.
So if you're doing like, say, a
Signaling.
15, 20, half an hour, something like that,
Right,
I'll
right.
usually try to tell somebody, or just like, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you light me at this time? And then depending on how much time I'm doing, it's like, would you light me at here? And then would you light me at here? Just so I know where I'm at.
Okay.
I think I've gotten to the point where I have like a solid 15, but knowing where I don't have to get lit, where I know where I'm just like, if I do this the correct way, I'm going to be within my sweet spot.
No, I get it.
So,
I get it.
But most of the time and stuff, before you had a real grip on it,
Right.
the light is your best friend. You got to figure out, it's like, all right, light me at, if I'm doing 15, it's like, light me at 12, please. And then I'll figure out, because like I'll have a bit that I'll do that I know is like probably 2 minutes long or something. So I'm
Okay.
just like, I'd rather be over than under 2.
Okay.
So it's like I'll bullshit enough where I know that I'm like, all right, I'm over the time. That's good. All right, wrap it up. Hey guys, thanks for playing along.
Yeah. It fascinates me, number one, the bravery. Anyone to get on stage and do that. Like, I know a little bit about playing in front of people on the music side.
They're closer than you think.
Really?
It's, so I think I was telling you and stuff. A buddy of mine, he's a guitarist for a local band, Filthy Lowdown.
Right.
Shout out Filthy Lowdown.
Right on.
He goes to a bunch of like music open mics.
Okay.
So, but they give you a lot more time for a music open
Yeah,
mic
it's a
than they
different
would.
thing, don't you think?
It's an entirely different beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he'll be up there and he'll be playing, he'll be jamming or whatever and stuff, and just working it out, doing his thing. Or he plays a lot of finger picking stuff.
Oh, right
what he's
on.
been doing now and stuff.
Right on.
I mean, he shredding is not the right term.
Yeah.
he
He's got it.
He leaves it all on the field.
He's got it, right.
Great dude. Stuff.
Right.
But he will go to the open mics and stuff, and again, it's the same thing. You're competing with. It's different though, because if somebody plays a song, your immediate thing is just like, that was great, man. I love that. That was exactly the way Jimi Hendrix would have played it.
Right.
But with somebody else like doing comedy or whatever, you got to try to, again, you just got to try to grab them. You got to get them there and stuff. But it's the same. I think it's a very similar beast. I mean,
The manipulation's different, wouldn't you say?
I would say that. I would definitely say that and stuff, because like they're going to play the song whether you like it or not. It's just like, I cannot hear. It's like, all right, I mean, I love Cliffs of Dover, but I can't hear it
Yeah.
again from you. Just like,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think they're very similar in the way. But the musicians, you guys get a lot more, regardless if like the song sucks or not. If you've heard it like 30,000 times or whatever, you're gonna get the round of applause afterwards. Because like,
Yeah, it's almost customary.
yeah. It's a old trope or whatever, where you're just gonna be like, yes, that was awesome. Thank you for playing that and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to get that applause break for some just dumb comment
but
about
the
like how I
heckler-
got into a car wreck in the city or something the one day.
But the hecklers, they hurt on both sides of the equation.
Do you get? I couldn't imagine what a musical heckler would be like and stuff. It's just
I
like,
never had any of that. No. Early on, when
you're going up there, just hearing the crack of the bat every time, just being like, hell yeah.
Well, I never did any open mic stuff, but I mean, when earlier bands, you're learning your chops and doing your thing, and you'll, once in a while you'll bomb individually or as a group, but it's that's got to be a different dynamic than having you're out there with a mic.
It's you just naked up there. You might as well be.
Yeah. That's a different thing. And there's no customary like interaction. Like you say, you play a song, people are like, yeah, awesome, generally. But there, it's like, and the funny thing as an audience, or being in the audience of a comedy show, I was always fascinated about how audiences sometimes really fuck up when the appropriate time is to give the, like the pauses are wrong.
That could be crippling.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the audience,
you are done.
You could be doing okay, but if the feedback isn't right, it can really screw things up.
Right. They think you're done, but you're just like, no. I got 2 more stupid things about. I went on vacation recently. You don't want to hear about it? But yeah, I would love to see a musical heckler. I would
never
love
seen that.
I've never seen. No, I've been
to a lot of dive bars. You've seen them, man. You're too drunk to remember.
That's probably. Yeah, I'm getting too goosed up at these places.
The music was so bad you had to drink.
Oh yeah. No, but he goes to a bunch of like. I've been to like the there was a place out in North Hills or whatever where it was a mixed mic.
Okay.
So you could do music and you could do comedy.
That's interesting.
I would always give my buddy shit about this because, like, again, phenomenal guitarist and stuff, and I would be like, dude, I would hate to have to follow you after you do like amazing like finger picking rendition of like Mr. Sandman, and I got to go up there with my horse shit after they just get done being just like, you see the way you really put it on up there, and I'm up there just trying to just be like, so white guys do this, black guys do this, and that's pretty quirky, right? We're quirky, And just like I could never imagine trying to follow you, like following a music act or whatever would just be debilitating. But there is also the challenge in it to just be like, if I could get him somehow, because like I feel like a lot of people would always come out there for the music, not necessarily the comedy.
Is that a thing? Like I can't say I see it a lot, Ian, but there have been some major acts bands that have gone out with an opening act being a comedian. Have they ever done it in reverse? Like, have you ever seen like a comedian headline a big gig but then take a band with them as the opener?
I don't think I've ever seen it like that. I've heard about it, but I've never physically seen it before and stuff. So I'd be very interested to see like how the dynamic works.
Because Jim Brewer opened for Motley Crue. Wasn't that a thing like 8 or 9 years ago? Didn't Brewer go out as
he does a lot of stuff with like, because he's a big music guy. Yeah. But he's also obviously in the foot in the door where he's at and stuff. So he opens up for a bunch. Yeah, I think you're right. He opens up for a bunch of bands. But I couldn't imagine him doing it the other way.
That's what I mean.
Trying to play like just front loading the band and then him in the back just being like, I'm gonna get him with this. I'm gonna get him. Just like.
Well, you know what? The music's the experience is visceral. So I think if you go out and get bludgeoned even by an opening act for like 35 minutes, and if they're good, I mean, you're like emotionally spent and like there's an energy level there. And then if someone comes on and stands there with the mic, no matter how fucking funny they are, there's a visceral letdown.
Oh, yeah.
That might not fare well for that particular comic, I would think, right?
I would have to agree. Yeah, you're going to get fucking just, it's not going to end well for you. So, yeah, I couldn't imagine fucking trying to follow up with a band afterwards and stuff. And he's doing like, because like, you got a band playing for probably like an hour or something like that, depending how the show's set up or whatever. It's like, but how much time that guy's gonna have to do after the band? They're gonna be like, it's definitely gonna be like a piss break kind of show. Just like, yeah,
but
man.
But even opening for like I would think the concerts that I'm familiar with growing up is in my age group,
You had to have seen some just
I did.
Amazing.
I was lucky in that regard. I don't regret the era I grew up in, but the opening acts were like brutalized often because everybody's there to see the headliner most of the time. Back in that era, for sure, because once in a while you would see a breakout opener, but it's rare. So the headlining band is either playing for a bunch of people moving around, don't give a shit, or they're already getting tuned up, or if it's a metal show or a really heavy show, those crowds are a little aggressive anyways.
Yeah.
And if they perceive for whatever reason that you suck, you're gonna be in a bad way.
Oh yeah.
So I can't imagine being in that kind of crowd and standing there at a microphone when they're already getting tuned up to hear some some Slayer, and you're standing there going, "Hey, what about so and so?"
I know, and I gotta come out there just like.
I mean, they got bottles of me being thrown. I mean, it's almost like that. So Brewer probably had some balls to do that. He was a name, I get it, but still,
it's definitely a recognizable name, and you know the fact. I mean, him on SNL and stuff, like you knew him as a rocker. He's a rocker comedian.
He is Hokey Pokey from the AC/DC thing. It was I first saw him like 20 years ago. That was funny as shit when I saw it the first time. But I guess my point is, like, if you're going to see Metallica, right, and you're going there, and I'm speaking as a younger man then, I go there, I'm ready to see Metallica, and some guy's standing there, I just don't know how, they're two different things, I think. You know?
No, for sure. Again, if you're going to come out there, you're going to be a deer in headlights just being like, yeah, all right? To just have to try to follow, like, if you follow Metallica, especially like the genre of music, if it's like a rough, rowdy, it's like an all punk show, metal show.
No, it worked better on hip hop. But hip hop and comedy work better together. Like I think about years ago, there was the Night of the Apollo show where it was on Fox for a while, and you would see comedians, you would see entertainment. It seemed like that all kind of worked. Would a rap or would an R&B act work better with a comedian? Do you think?
It could perhaps, because like it's just the rapper out there by himself. So it's one-on-one.
Okay.
It's you and the audience.
Okay.
The difference with the band or whatever shit. You got the jerk-off bassist, you got the whoever the hell else and shit. So you're all in there together. But, I think it probably could work a little better. It's like smooth, somber tones.
I'm not saying go out there and tour with Air Supply or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
Hecklers, man. Talk to me about hecklers. Have you ever encountered them?
There is one story that stays with me forever.
Okay.
It was one of the early times I did comedy. I was at a place over in Oakland, and we were... I'm trying to think of the layout. Yeah. The layout of the bar was safety second. So
safety second.
Yeah. The way it was like set up and shit, they like had... The bar was like built...
Fire
you
trap.
couldn't get... People would have eaten each other to try to get out of there and stuff. There'd have been more people killed from trying to escape than the actual fire itself.
It was a great white moment, what you're trying to say.
It was... Yeah, it was... back when, because they just came out with like that Leaving Neverland documentary, and then R. Kelly, they had Surviving R. Kelly or something. It was like something like that. They were both in the news for whatever reason.
Right.
And I came out there and I was just like, so pretty bad time to be a pedophile right now, huh?
You opened with that.
I opened. I was just like, so pretty bad time to be a pedophile, huh? And this smoke show of a chick. The guy's gorgeous too. They're. I don't know what they were doing there, but the girl in the audience, she's just like, it's never a good time to be a pedophile. I was like, thank you, miss. That's the joke. It's like, no. I have 10 minutes of pro-pedophile material. You're going to want to stick around and hear this. I mean, they're pieces of shit, but damn if they don't dress well. I'll tell you that. It's like, I was just like, of course. And then they got up and left. I was just like, well, I'm probably not going to this isn't exactly what you're going to be wanting anyway. If I'm leading with that and you guys are like, nah. I do it. I've done that thing where the opening up, because I'm sick of... I like my comedy. I'm not a clean comic.
Right.
I don't want to be a clean comic.
Right.
I know that you get a lot more work being a clean comic versus a dirty comic, but I just love the raunchy. I like that. Just like the fucked up stuff or whatever. It's like I want it. Hit me with it.
Like
stuff.
Jezelnik.
Oh, he's a master craftsman of that stuff. Just takes you on the trip for a sec, and then
so
it's just
dry and deadpan, man.
It's a hard left going 80, like in the middle of like his thing. Dead baby jokes, a rape joke. He has that. I think he does have an Eric Clapton joke or something like that. Or who's the artist and stuff where his kid fell out of the window?
That was Clapton.
It was Clapton. Is that Clapton joke is so goddamn funny. But yeah, I like the dirty, raunchy, like just shitty whatever. But there's been so many times I remember the one time I was at Arcade Comedy Theater. I got to go down there and do something, and I literally opened up with a joke about I was working downtown or something, and I was like, I saw a couple walking around and stuff, and they had it was a white couple and they had different colored kids, so I was like, oh, they're clearly adopted or whatever. But it was just like, oh yeah, man. The thing about that is, like, you ever see a couple like that and kind of look like they're just like, it's like, oh, they went down to the adoption agency and they were just like, white ones, then how's anybody know we're heroes?
Oh my God.
And the room couldn't have parted any quicker.
Really?
So I was just like, cool, I guess I'm talking to the left side of the room for the rest of the night. And it was just like, but the entire thing was just roller coaster. I was like, I got him, I lost him. I got him, I lost him. But that's the same thing with Jeselnik. You know to expect that from Jeselnik. So I would like to get to that point in time at some point where they're just
so let's talk about that, because
this guy's a jerk off and he's going to tell us jerk off stuff.
The whole concept of being offended is always a good question to talk with every comedian I sit across. And it's funny, I get a lot of different opinions, all valid, just people's opinions. But the premise was, when I grew up, and it wasn't that long ago, but, comedy was comedy, and there really wasn't any rules. So if it wasn't your style or your taste, you respected the fact that, hey, you're at a comedy show. This is what I'm going to experience. And if you don't like it, well, you can fucking leave. That's how it was then. No one got up and was offended. So how does that work today? Because I have some comedic friends who say it's their responsibility to maneuver and be socially, acceptable or understand things a certain way. And I respect that viewpoint. It does, to me, a little bit take away from what the essence of comedy always was from my viewpoint, which was there wasn't any rules. And if it's not for you, then it's just not for you. If it bothered your sensibilities, well, okay, then it's just not for you. It wasn't done in a vindictive way.
I don't think anybody truly sets out.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I don't think anybody, comedian-wise, purposely sets out to bother people, to offend somebody. Nobody goes up there just like, all right, you're not up there like Jerry Springer just being like, all right, I'm going to piss some people off today. You're not going to, I don't believe anybody has the intention to do that.
Okay.
To immediately come out and just be like, I'm going to say a lot of slurs. I'm going to really tell you guys how I feel about Puerto Ricans. I'm going to let you guys know about just massaging it.
There used to be a place for that in society, in comedy. Not there anymore.
No. My idea about it is I have a strong feel. Either all of it's okay or none of it is.
Don't parse it.
You have to, you can't cherry pick what's okay, what's not okay. I also don't believe there's no such thing as a bad joke. I believe that whether it's a distasteful joke, it doesn't quite land the way you want it to, there's an audience for it. There's a reason we have so many, clean comics, dirty comics,
right.
People that do crowd work based comics and stuff, a musical act comedy or whatever shit. We have so many different avenues. You're standing at an 8-way intersection right now.
Yeah.
And there's tons of different. Somebody will find that entertaining or humorous or like a quick throwaway something.
Right.
There's definitely such a thing, again, a distasteful joke or like a bad timing joke or whatever, but
taste is subjective,
it's for everything is subjective. Music's subjective, comedy is subjective, everything is stuff.
Yeah.
But no matter what, there is an audience for whatever you're doing. Okay. You just got to go out there and find them.
Okay.
But as far as I got to say, you can't cherry pick. It's either all of it's okay or none of it is. Because if you say something, what's the tragedy plus time equals comedy? Mm-hmm. You tell jokes from a dark place. There's definitely dark humor, and then there's you kind of let your foot off the gas a little bit on it. You're not going full-blown Jeselnik on something.
Right.
But you can definitely find an audience for whatever you're doing. But as far as the offense comes, don't come to a comedy show.
Yeah, that's my whole thing, too. And I do respect anyone's opinion and how they practice comedy and their sensibilities. Everybody has their own sensibilities. I've always really shaken my head at how over the last, maybe 8, 10, 15 years, we've gotten in society, when it comes to comedy, very selective in what's appropriate and what is not.
Yeah.
And trying to almost rewrite careers. But, now, Eddie Murphy, we give him a pass because people like him. But someone doing the same kind of jokes back in Eddie Murphy's era, same kind of stuff, because he might not be liked universally, we'll cancel him out. We'll go back and try to rewrite and maybe cancel out or marginalize his work. It's very selective, and it's not, to me, it's nothing to do with politics. People can tie it to that. It's just a lot of humans, in my opinion, running around today looking to be offended by anything, and that doesn't serve society very well, in my opinion.
No, it's a good opinion. You can't wake up just being ready to just like, what's gonna bother me today? What charge do I have to lead? What is just like, just enjoy for a minute. Take a moment to just enjoy your surroundings. Just
Agreed.
I couldn't imagine living that life. I couldn't imagine living that way where you're just like, you're constantly waiting for like the next thing to bother you. I mean, maybe it's human nature or something to just be, how can I, make this better? How can I, move the ball forward a little bit and stuff? But like, to go out there and just looking for something to bother you and stuff, it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't
get a hobby.
I generally don't like fish, so I won't go to a restaurant and order fish because I can select what I dig and what I don't dig.
Right.
Wouldn't I do it with movies? Most movies I wouldn't pay the money to see because I'm not interested.
Yeah.
My point is, there's things that, I don't go watch porn and pay for porn. It's free on the internet if you haven't. I don't
think anybody.
But I mean, it's nothing that I would choose to pay money for.
Yeah.
It's called being selective.
Right.
You can't do that with comedy anymore because I'm sure I wasn't allowed as a kid to watch Red Fox because that wasn't children's material, my parents thought. So they were making a selective decision, knowing that Red Fox was out there and probably watching it when I went to bed. But the point was there was different choices for different opinions, ages, different lifestyles, whatever. But you didn't excoriate those people. You didn't go after them,
A lot of comics, a lot of the famous comics or whatever stuff, they all usually have disclaimers. Like you can tell, like you're going to see, if you're going to see Richard Pryor, you know what Richard Pryor's about.
Well,
you're going to see Jerry Springer, you know what Jerry Springer is going to be all about, or Jerry Springer,
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, I got Springer on the mind now. But you know what these guys are about. Richard Pryor is going to do Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And Seinfeld is going to be.
Guys, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, Murphy. I don't think his what's the one that I don't think the one aged well where he opens up where he's just like, I don't like faggots looking at my ass and shit. It's just that's
Faggots Part 1 or Faggots Part 2. I don't know which one that is.
Yeah.
It's the first couple full length albums he did.
In today's day and age or whatever shit, that would not age well, or a little bit and stuff. We've always had cancel culture. We've always had it, but it's just now you've given a name to it.
Okay.
Before, if something happened before, it's just like you just got in trouble. Just something happened, you just got in trouble. They didn't say it was like, oh, he's canceled. He's not allowed to do anything anymore. He's removed from this. And
is it that? Well, ultimately, my standpoint would be the markets, and I say the market meaning the buying public. They're going to decide what's acceptable and what isn't, anyways, because that's how societies run. Society will make the decision. You don't need a couple people in society pushing the narrative.
Yeah.
People pay, people vote on things that are acceptable or not, generally with their wallet. In entertainment, anyways, right? I mean, if you can say Red Fox was a bad comic and he was, this or that, but somebody was buying it. The guy made a shit ton of money. Didn't pay taxes, but he made a shit ton of money. Lenny Bruce before him broke all kinds of walls down, went to jail over it.
He's ripping them down or something. I was watching, or I think I was on Facebook or something earlier, and they had the thing where it was like George Carlin. Mm-hmm. George Carlin was like the first time he introduced his 7 words you can't say. He gets arrested for it.
I remember. I was a kid.
That night he gets arrested, booked, but then let go.
Yeah.
But I think the way that they were describing it was like people came there to see, like, because he had done late night this, and he's doing all of his PG stuff or whatever because he has to.
That was his coming out evening.
Yeah. So he does that and does his 7 words you can't say, and they're all up in arms. They're immediately. It's just like, but it's like he's just testing new material. It's like, I know that you've seen him from that, but you need to go in open-minded. I believe wholeheartedly you have to go into a comedy show open-minded. They're going to talk about stuff that's...
But are they now? How much censorship, even self-censorship, is going on with comedians now? Think about that. How much is going on based upon what they're afraid of happening to them if they just say something funny? It's funny to them. They want to see if it's funny for you. That's exactly what I mean. I was saying it before or something. I don't think there's a bad joke. Okay. There's an audience for it no matter what. Like, personally, I don't care for, like, dad jokes or whatever. Like, the simple throw... The kind where it's like, I gotta get the punchline after I'm done fixing this ice cream pop or whatever stuff. Now I get to figure out what the hell happened from the... those aren't exactly my cup of tea, but it's for somebody.
Somebody loves those like easy throwaway dad jokes or something like that.
Sure, 100%.
Yeah. So you find your audience with that, or you find your audience with the more hardcore Lenny Bruce, George Carlin breaking the walls a little bit and stuff like that. So it's just, we're on a journey, man. We're on a journey to try to figure out what we can and can't say. And
so how do you spend time parsing your own material now? Do you say, okay, I'm going to go to these 4 venues, this is my sets, I'm writing new material, nah, I can't go there, nah, it's a little bit too edgy? Are you pulling back?
I have pulled back on some things.
Okay.
I definitely, there was a rape joke that I had before, but I don't, it's not where I want it to be. So it's like I kind of don't say it right now. And also, I mean, I think there's definitely a bonus with reading the room. You need to 100% be able to read the room.
I would think so.
Yeah, so
I would think so.
Like, for example,
it's just being smart.
Well, yeah. You kind of gotta. I mean, if you do it long enough, you kind of figure out it's like, all right, well. And also, I'm no stranger to pandering a little bit here and there and stuff. So
yeah. Well, you all do that. Every comedian does it. Every musician does it.
Paul Stanley's my favorite.
There you go,
hands
man.
down.
He's the orator.
Yeah,
he's the one who does it. Yep.
He's terrific at it. I'll never get bored of it. Just watching him. He's a pander machine, and I dig it. I love it.
It's funny. We were talking off camera a little bit about the time I was working with that band, and just the stick behind it all was that when you see multiple shows in a tour, you've heard it all again, and after the 4th or 5th time you hear the same stick, it gets a little old. It's not fresh every night. Sometimes I think comedians have a way of, if you got on tour, let's just say you went out for like a 10-city tour, generally the same show every night, right? But there's always a little bit of improvisation on there.
Sure.
Not so much with musicians, I noticed. Like, sometimes the banter between the songs is so scripted because it worked in their minds, right? They just keep doing the same shit. So
they have the approach. They know where they're going to go at it with it stuff. So like in between, like my buddy's band or whatever, they'll do like semi sketches between like songs or whatever. But just to kind of like, again, testing it, feeling it out, see what happens. I mean, they have the songs that they play, and they know that like this is the song from this album. This is the song from this one. We know it works. This is the classics. People came to see this. No band is up there just doing like just a jam session. Nobody's up there just being like, oh, I heard this one already. So it's just like, yeah, well, I'm going to play it again because I wrote it down on the set list. So, yeah, strap in. But the thing is, it's like with comics or whatever, we're up there trying to hone the set. So it's like you've heard the joke so many times, but like you try to, again, vary it the way it goes. With the improvisation, when you're, you know, again, with a heckler comes in and stuff, you could get destroyed by that heckler, or you could be the one on the other end.
How do you handle them? Do you have to have your guard up all the time because you don't know when they're going to come? They're going to say something. You don't know what point in time or what show. Are you always guarded in that way? Are you pretty relaxed and like, I'll figure it out? If it happens, I'll figure it out.
I think I'm fair enough off the cuff to be able to handle somebody. If somebody speaks up about something, I think I have a decent enough
repertoire
to kind of handle it. Either, I don't want to say outright dismiss it, but it's something in the moment. It depends on what they say. It depends on what I'm talking about. But if they speak up and say something that they're not okay with, I'll usually try to like, well, what's the problem? What do you not like? What do you this and that and stuff? And usually either it's an old hat or an old trick or whatever to turn it back on them and make them look like the jerk off. Because even though you said something they don't agree with, so now you're making it. They obviously want to be part of the show. Bring him in. Kick the door open. Get in here, dude. We're going for this ride you want to be on so bad, and just either lay into them, or I mean, if it's a drunk dude, I'm foot's going on the gas. But if it's like a woman or something, depending on her, but it's like, I don't know. You just have to.
Well, all heckler. I mean, when I say heckler, I probably should rephrase that. Of course, you're going to get some blowback for someone being a smartass, thinking something isn't funny or they're offended. I get that, but what about the hecklers that are just drunk and they're just, like, if some guy goes, "You're not fucking funny." I mean, that's the kind of heckler I'm talking about. Nonsense hecklers.
I'll tell you a story. So, I recently went to Chicago within the past couple weeks.
All right.
We went, and there was a show going on at some rando bar. They had a lounge or whatever set up and stuff. We're doing the comedy at this place.
Okay.
There were 3 women housed, just drunk enough to be probably not in public.
Okay.
They probably should have bowed out a little bit. They didn't get the hint. They're all drunk, so they're just like, yeah, whatever, do what you got to do. It's like nobody's corralling these women.
Okay.
We're up there. There's 4 of us. We all come up there. One by one, these women are just being disruptive. They're loud. They're talking. You say something, they're immediately like, it's not a town hall meeting, lady. I'm not looking for feedback, all right? I'm going to do this, and you're going to... Yeah, it's like, this isn't like a fucking Q&A, all right? You know? But they're loud, they're obnoxious or whatever, and then eventually got to the point... We're all shitting on them. And there's a point in time where if you get a heckler and you can get the heckler on your side, where you're shitting on them enough, where they're just like, this guy gets it. It's just like, I probably shouldn't have said that. It's like, yeah, dude, lay down. Just don't do anything. But it got to the point where it was my turn up there.
Okay.
I get up there. This one lady has like the thickest Chicago accent. This Midwestern, whatever. It's just like, he's like, oh, we're probably going to go down there and check out the Bears and see what they're all about. Maybe, grab ourselves some fucking, some deep dish pizza. I don't know. Make a whole night out of it. You know what I'm saying? But this lady was talking, and I start doing the accent back at her, and then everybody in the audience is like, oh, yeah. It's like, that's how we sound. No shit, that's us. But... talking to this lady and she's laughing about it or whatever. I was like, I couldn't tell if this is actually Midwestern or if your mom's hitting the sauce well through the 3rd trimester and this is just what came out. So now you're just sounding like a fucking cartoon character. But talking to them, and the one lady next to her just started piping up or whatever, and I was just like, so what brings you 3 dykes out here tonight? It's like, what do you... I think it was like I called it a dyke hike. I was like, yeah, you literally girls in the middle of a dyke hike going from bar to bar just fucking up everybody's evening.
Wow.
The lady came up. The host wasn't great. He just literally rolled over, showed his belly and shit, because like some other lady was talking or whatever, and he's just like, hey ladies, if you want to just kind of like... And he shushed her. He's just like, shh, and the lady's just like, oh, don't shush me. You don't shush me. And he immediately just like, no, I think you... No. Just like, I'm so glad you guys are voting. I'm glad that you guys can own, like, since like, what, mid-70s, you guys can now own bank accounts and stuff. I think that, hey, don't even get me wound up talking about the wage gap. Don't even get me started and stuff. But he just immediately folded like origami.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, fuck that, fuck you.
Right.
You chose to be here.
Yeah, they paid to be there.
Yeah, you chose to be here. So, but you deal with that every now. The lady comes up, grabs the mic stand, and starts riding it like there's a horse head on the other end, and the entire thing went to shit. The guy had to go grab her.
Are you kidding me?
The guy had to they had to remove her. They had to remove her, and then it was our turn, and we're just like, all right, we need to get the last one of our group of 4 went up there after the lady, said some other shit to them, and we got out of there like it was 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and your team's up by 20.
Did you get paid?
We're just like, we know what's going on.
Did you get paid? Is the question.
No. There was no money. But I guess I have a funny story about how I called these ladies dykes one time.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I'm just disappointed in regards to how uberly sensitive everybody is. It just drives me nuts. Come on, man. I mean, like, comedy used to be funny as shit. And when something was off color, that was funny. I mean, it wasn't like you were gonna look at your person sitting next to you and associate something evil with that. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. It's not fun anymore without that.
Yeah, I know. You need to... I mean, it's cliche to say you're pushing boundaries or whatever like that, but like... we're day by day something new in the I think I was telling you that story off camera. What about a news anchor passed away from something? But if I just told you outright, it's like, oh, this guy died. It's like, that's not funny. It's like, well, let's go to. It's like, hey, let's go to the clip here. Let's go bring up the clip or bring up the news article or stuff like that. People are gonna find what bothers them and stuff. I mean, for example, I like racist jokes. Mm-hmm. They're very cliche, but like they're not cliche, but they're I don't know, old fashioned in time. It's like you heard a street joke or something, like the stereotypes or right. Shit. It's like,
right.
I don't it's a weird way to say it. I don't discriminate against racist jokes. But me being my background and my last name's Dougherty, so I'm pretty Irish. Mm-hmm. Some of my favorite jokes are Irish jokes.
Right.
Just shitting on it. It's just like, yeah, I get it. We kind of do that. Yeah. And it's like, you're not off by that.
I did offer him whiskey when he came in the door, and he actually turned it down. I was shocked by that.
It took a lot. It took a lot to really just...
I had the intravenous needle ready and everything.
Yeah. I was ready to go. It's like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to finish this argument I've been having with me wife in me head, and I'm going to wring this bottle off the side of her dome. Yeah. But some of those they're hilarious to me. Like, I was just like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's just like, but it's also, I wouldn't be mad if somebody who's of whatever background or something like said something about me being that. But I also find the other things, whatever his background is, a lot of those are funny. I just find them, I don't know. Maybe I'm quirky like that. I don't know. I just find stuff like that funny.
Well, so you had, like, in the 70s or even the 80s, you had a white comic telling jokes about black people.
Yeah.
And then you had blacks telling jokes about crazy things white people do. And everybody fucking laughed. Everybody laughed. Nobody was getting... Like, you know, and Mexican comedians were talking about their own people, talking about how goofy white people were, how the similarities with black people, the whole thing, whatever the viewpoint was for that joke, everybody laughed.
Right.
People were afraid to do that now.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, they do sound like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I just find it, but I mean, are you? I guess my point is, like, if it isn't so bad with where your age is now, because you probably have been practicing comedy in, how formal that sounded, practicing comedy in an era when people were already kind of fucking, you know, jonesed off.
Right.
But if somebody my age had the balls to go up on an open mic now, you know, as a 50-year-old guy, I don't want to do it, because the shit that I found funny probably isn't socially acceptable anymore.
Oh, for sure. You get run out of town on a rail. You'd immediately, all the old stuff, you'd have that happen. You'd just be like, they'd pull you, but they'd remove you from society. Well, they'd remove you from history.
What's Eddie Murphy supposed to do if someone brings up that old material? Is he supposed to apologize for it? Is he supposed to? Because none of them are safe from it. I mean, Robin Williams, God rest his soul, but if he was alive today, he said a lot of crazy off-color stuff in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, that era of comedian, you know, that's Sam Kinison. There was, you know, I can go, even in Living Color,
right,
wasn't real, how do you say it, politically acceptable.
One of my buddy's favorite,
I don't get it.
One of my buddy's favorite sketches on In Living Color, I believe, is Handyman.
I remember
he
that.
plays a handicapped superhero, but they do all the tropes of just like, he's super, but he's also super handicapped. So, but he's also doing like small things that are like handicap related. Like some guys, like, I think the one is just like a guy's in a handicap stall for too long, and he goes in there and rips the door off with ease. But he's doing like handicap related heroism. But like, I forget what I was going to ask you, or I forget what I was going to tell you about.
We probably stamped that stuff out of society. Does that stuff play on repeat? Like, does Homie the Clown on that was a character sketch on there? Mm-hmm. Does that play today? I mean, can you go find that on reruns? I don't know.
I remember what I was going to say to you. So, again, I think there should be a statute of limitation for tweets. Tweets or everything like that, or
the Twitter world. Yeah, everybody
is digging. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had the big Academy Award thing because he said something like however long ago. Yeah, I believe very wholeheartedly there should be like a statute of limitation. The shot putter or the hammer thrower. No. Just recently, it's the black lady turned her head away from the.
Yeah.
But they were digging through her tweets to try to figure out to like make her out to be this person who's not. But they were pulling up stuff from like 10, 12 years ago. Yeah. That lady's 32 or something right now.
Baseball players have that problem too. A lot of these young baseball players who come out and, you know, then they find a tweet they did when they were 14. Come on.
You have no idea. All right.
I'm glad that shit wasn't around when I was a kid, because we'd all be in jail.
But if you were 14, if you dug up a tweet from a kid who was 14, you'd be like, "You believe he said that?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I can totally believe it." He's a kid who has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah. He's still figuring out life. He doesn't have any experience. He doesn't have any worldly view on anything like that.
And depending on how you were raised, I mean, if you were raised with...
That's also another factor.
And it's not an excuse. It is an excuse. To a degree, it is because honestly...
Little column A, little column B.
Well... I think some of it's geography.
Sure.
And coupled with how you are raised, where
he comes from Boston. Of course he's racist now.
But some things might not have the same impact there within their own people in terms of where they geographically were raised. And once they get out into the broader society, that stuff they realize. I think most logical people realize, oh, this doesn't play well outside of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
You learn, you adapt. That's part of growing up. But man, well, what you spouted off on as a 12-year-old when you found Twitter, and now you're a more sensible, accomplished person than a 24-year-old. Are you responsible for what you said when you were 12?
You're not.
How can you be?
Exactly. There's no way you're going to be able to you're older. You can probably defend it a little more now versus like if you try to grab a kid who was like 13, 14, 15, something like that range, and like said something online, you're just like, you believe this kid said that? You believe he really feels that right now? It's like, that kid has no idea.
Yeah.
He's a young enough age and stuff. He's in high school or he's in middle school or something like that. So you have like the pressure of your surroundings.
A lot of white kids grew up with rap music. They like it. Okay. No. They really like it.
No. I was thinking about something that happened the other day.
I'm just saying they not understanding the context of the lyrics. Are there lyrics in rap or is it spoken word? I don't know what that is. It's not music. Whatever it is.
It's gospel. It's gospel now.
It's not music. Whatever it is. I'm sorry. It's something else. Rap is something else. It's formidable. It's formidable. I don't profess to understand it. But the lyrical content there, the context of it, to a 14-year-old that's got a pretty strange and very parochial background, may not have any understanding of what those words actually mean.
No, he could be learning it from... Sure, for sure. He could be learning that stuff from like an older brother, an older sibling, or something like that, and getting
or Uncle Billy down by the river.
Yeah, getting a whole other perspective from somebody else who just
down in a van.
Yeah, good Lord. It's like there's so many. Yeah, you're just getting a light shot when you're a young kid like that. Well, even the like I was talking about the Olympic lady. She was 22 when she said all this stuff. So it's like that's old enough, but like also. That's like you're getting out of college at that age.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like you're now taking your step into the real world to do this.
Well, we don't have any context evaluating them because we don't have any context of their life and what they were dealing with and what their opportunities for learning and understanding were of the world around them. I mean, again, I cannot emphasize enough, we don't, by doing this kind of stuff, we are not letting people or giving people any latitude that you can't understand what you've not been exposed to.
No.
It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just you don't have a broad enough perspective. Yeah.
I
don't know.
Wording is very important these days. I mean, it's always been, but it's never been more important than it is today. You have to be very careful in the way you word things. It's like I'm an engineer. Right. One of my jobs is I'm a safety engineer. I'm dicking around with it. Sometimes I got to take my sock off and count on the toes and shit to get it there. But no, I'm a safety engineer. So one of my things is I'm basically, I mean, if I had to put a title on it, I'm a glorified auditor. I look at other people's work and stuff like that, but I have to perform safety cases on stuff. So I have to be very particular on what's going on it's a photograph in time. So at that particular time, what's going on with the system, what's going on with the tests that were done. Is this completed? Are we not there yet? Did they test in the lab? Did they test on site? Did they test so I had to be very particular the way I word these safety cases or reports or whatever the hell I'm putting out and stuff that gives whoever the job or the person is my exact feedback to a T. So I work with trains. I work with trains and train systems and stuff like that. So I have people's lives at risk.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's now, I mean, I could end up, you'll know when I run the 11 o'clock news or something, it'd be like, it's just going to be a video of me just being like, fuck, is that a 3? That's not supposed to be a 3. I'm sorry. In the meanwhile, there's a fucking pile of people in the middle of like Dubai, just up over a sand dune, and just being like, you know what? I didn't see that coming in.
Camels.
Yeah. It's like I drove right into it. Yeah, it careened and drove right into a camel farm. It's just like a guy's goat herd was taken out and stuff. But wording has never been more important. Today.
I believe.
I mean, and then 5, 10, how many years from now it's going to be even more important. But this snapshot in time is we have to be very particular about the way we word things and phrase and So again, with these tweets or whatever, some of them are a little more cut and dry or whatever, but it's like, again, you don't know what the person at the time, I mean, you have an idea, but you don't know the background, you don't know the way they grew up, or where they came from, the trajectory they were heading, We're all just figuring it out. But you have to be very particular about the way you say stuff.
Yeah, especially the one thing I've been careful to try to tell my kids who are, one's 20 and one's 18, as they were growing up with phones and all this stuff, is that whatever they did, there's a legacy of it out there. I mean, no one may ever find anything, but it's still there. See, I didn't have that shit. That's all news to me, right?
Yeah. There's just so much data now. There's so much information being thrown at you all day. Like, news is the one thing. I mean, I follow it, but there's definitely times where I'm going to be like, I can't right now. I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care about who
indifference, brother.
But that's the thing. Sometimes it becomes challenging to even get away from it for a second because, like,
you're inundated.
Again, with the thing about visiting Chicago, it was a fine city and stuff. But like, there was just the way Chicago has everything going on right now. It's like you can't get away from whatever you're trying to get away from is easy. There's
a lot of crime there.
Graffiti everywhere. There's a mural at every corner. There's so like, even if you want to just go out and try a Chicago style pizza for the first time, I've never had it. What's all this hubbub about and stuff? You're gonna go in there, but you're gonna drive past like whatever the next struggle or whatever the next the pilgrimage or whatever. So it's like, even if you wanted to bow out, you just
politics
can't.
Taints so much of our society now, and it's hard to even.
They're all nuts.
It's hard to be indifferent because the visuals are everywhere. Online, offline, doesn't matter.
They're having a blast watching it. I know that for a fact. There's both sides.
They're all laughing. They're all getting together. They're all getting together after hours, partying and drinking and laughing at us.
It's them. Yeah, it's them kicking their feet up, cracking the beer, and just like da-na-na, just like ready to see.
I believe it, man.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So the best thing for you to do every now and again is just kind of take a step back. It's those people that get offended for whatever. They're looking for the next crusade. They're looking for the next thing to get bothered about.
What's really crazy to me about it is, like, and this is a little philosophical, but
hit me with it.
Well,
coming in hot.
So you take the aggregate of 100% of the population, and we have all this volatility in this 100% of the population, but all the volatility is being spearheaded and driven by 2% on each side, the furthest extremes on each side of philosophy, that they're so far on their particular side that actually they're kind of the same. They're so fucked up. They actually come around the back, and now they meet again.
It's the snake eating itself.
And become one, pretty much. But all the 96% of people that are not involved in activity, we're taking our cues from these morons who are driving the narrative and causing us to be caustic for absolutely no reason. We are the ones running the engine of society while these morons on the fringe are out there driving the narrative, and we're letting them do it. That's the insanity of it to me.
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox, but that's philosophically where I think we are in the insanity of it.
Well, yeah. So, everybody finds their own. So here's a question for you. So, getting back to the whole like language that goes on with a comedy show. 100 people at a comedy show. You're up there. You're doing material. It's not clean. One person can derail the entire show. One person gets offended. They tell the manager. They tell whoever and stuff that they were just like, I didn't come here for this. We didn't fucking come out here for this shit. It's just like, one person gets mad out of the entire 100. Are they right, or is the audience right for laughing at the joke because one person had a problem? One person can really put an impact on it. Because I've put my own shows together a bunch of times, and I've had shows, I've lost shows. I'm gonna keep on doing it. It's gonna keep going.
Got it.
But one person, just because they didn't like the one joke or the one material or the basis or whatever and stuff you're bringing up, they had a problem with it. They go tell the person, now you don't have a show anymore. Because one person, a lot of the stuff like bar shows or whether you're in a theater or whatever the venue is and stuff, like, they're trying to keep their patrons. And I get it. I get the game. You want to keep the asses in the seats. Keep them coming in, keep them one coming back. It's insane the fact that one person out of how many can hold court.
Well, that's symptomatic of society. And you can go back to the internet of giving a voice to the voiceless. The internet now, everybody has a quote unquote, in theory, was supposed to have a level playing field.
Everybody has a voice, but should they?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the beauty of the internet. Everybody's got a voice, and it's the worst thing about the internet. Everybody's got a voice. Some don't really, I hate to use the word deserve, but their actions and their lack of reasoning ability that they show does not qualify them to have a legitimate voice. I hate to say that. That's horrible to say, but you have to be you need to be a reasonably functioning,
I'm sure some are high.
a reasonably functioning adult that would warrant my ability to give you some time to listen to you. I mean, it's too. When you just asked me, should the one person ruin it for 99 others? Okay. In an effort in society to right some wrongs, we've gone the other direction, and we've forgotten about math. Things in life are set up in a way that as long as dignity and love and kindness is at the forefront, you still have to operate with mathematics. The majority of things in life rule, and that's generally for the best of an operation. It doesn't mean oppression. It doesn't mean discrimination of any kind. That's not what I'm talking about, human rights and kindness. I'm talking about just in this instance, one person can ruin a night for 99. That didn't have any sensibility toward injustice or the kindness or whatever. You're at a fucking comedy show where you paid there willingly to go. That's math that doesn't work. The majority has to having a majority of something in society that you're involved with has to mean something on premise, because if not, then you can't have 1,000 different answers to one problem. You're looking for the unified solution to something, right? You can't ask 100 people and start with 100 different solutions. That's what we're trying to do, I think. We're trying to take the math because we don't want to offend anybody, which in theory can be okay, but we're actually throwing the concept of math completely fucking out. When you're go back in history, they used to, they would vote on stuff and they'd raise their hands and scream, and that's how societies were run. And they were brutal back then. And I'm not saying we go back and do that, but there was an effectiveness in theory. And I think in a civilized society, we can do that, but you can't do that when you give everybody, the right to upset the apple cart because they were egreged. Fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. That's where I'm at with it. It's not a white, black, yellow, green, red thing. I don't want anyone. Listen, we have the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, all this dignity. Aside from dignity, I'm talking just as we procedurally go through life, the majority of what the group wants should rule the day. That's how elections are won. That's how we run society.
Right.
Why should one person fuck up the evening for 99? It doesn't make sense, but we give the power to be offended now.
Yeah, somebody sent a strongly worded letter or something where it's just like,
right. How'd this happen?
I remember.
I'm off myself, but I'm so blown away by our stupidity.
I remember a time I was down at a bar in Southside when I was much younger. There was a guy. It was like a Friday night or something, so the place is just breaking all types of code for how many people they can get into the place. It's stacked. Everybody's having a great time. One guy comes in from outside or something, and I didn't get to see the exchange, but the guy was obviously upset about something or had an issue with whatever the hell was going on. And one of the bartenders literally just yells at him. He's just like, "Yeah, we don't need your business that bad, dude," and just booted him right out. I was just like, yes.
There you go.
Fuck
That's
that guy.
That's very rare.
It's not. It doesn't happen all the time, but usually it's always the customer's always right type mentality or whatever shit. But they were already. Again,
yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, that's not reality.
No, one person versus everybody else in there. Everybody else is fine, dude. I do not know what the issue was and stuff, so I just watched it unfold. I'm catching the ass end of it and shit. Yeah. But he's just like, I think we'll be fine without your business, and just get him the fuck out of there.
The mechanics of life is run on a system where, and again, we're not talking about human rights or discrimination. I'm talking about the mechanics of operating life. Right. That's it.
For sure.
But when you start fucking with that, and you're telling the majority of people that, the majority of people want this particular thing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
but these three people over here disagree, so we're going to go with what they say. Fuck the rest of you. That is lopsided, but that's what's happening in a lot of areas of society now. I honestly believe that we've given power to the minority think. And again, when you say the word minority, that's not what I'm talking about as racial minorities or ethnic minorities or gender minorities. I'm talking about the mechanics of life.
I get you.
It's upside down.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's very topsy-turvy. It's yeah.
But how we get there? Did the web do that?
I got to tell you what, I would love to see this. If you just shut the internet down for a month, just shut the internet down for like a month and see what, I mean, you'd be going back to you'd be describing candlelight times and stuff where, but somebody who watched a speech from a TED Talk or something like that or whatever, who disagreed with the person in the TED Talk and how they were talking, you go on and we're just this guy's incorrect, this is not factual and whatever and stuff. It's if you shut down the internet, you know how much effort that person would have to do to go and give that guy a piece of his mind? It's some guy in rural Iowa, some other guy's doing the speech in Texas or something like that. It's just you'd have to buy a train ticket, you'd have to fucking get a plane or something to go down there and find the guy. It's it just as soon as he gets there, just be hey, eat shit. Just who said that? It's just and then gets back on the plane to go right back.
Some crazy fucker will do that.
We have there's somebody out there who's just writing it down right now, just the plane takes off at 5, and if I land there, I could probably fucking. Well, I think he goes on at 7, so it's plenty of time. I can rent a car. Yeah,
we've given the illusion of importance to everybody in every issue, in every circumstance, and that's just not how the mechanics of life works. Listen, if I'm sitting there with a bunch of engineers, I'm probably the last person someone's going to ask about, the structure being, the structure being built like a block down.
Right.
And I don't give a shit because I'm in the minority in this mechanical, but the way the internet is, well, why isn't Eric's opinion being taken in? Well, Eric doesn't know what the fuck he's doing here. He's not skilled there, right?
No.
But the internet tries to level it all out. You have a right to have your opinion heard by all these engineers, although you couldn't pass fucking 9th grade math. No. But you deserve to have do you see, that's the mechanic of life I'm talking about. We've leveled out things that have no business being level.
Well, if the structure goes down, they're going to be Eric was part of the team too, by the way. Eric had a hand in that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's insanity. Life can't run this way, man.
No.
But we're trying to do it. We're doing the best we can with what we got. But I know. Are we?
It's the fucking question, isn't it? I mean, yeah. It's well, I was gonna Fight Club or whatever. If everybody's special, then nobody is. But everybody gets their voice heard, and then you don't have any uniqueness. There's everybody is now a voice for whatever the topic is and stuff, and we're taking everybody's consideration into it. But yeah, Eric McKenna, fucking engineer extraordinaire, fucking saying what he's saying, you're gonna be oh, he's speaking the loudest, so listen to him. But in reality, it's just you don't exactly have your fucking background to say what the hell should go up on top of the whatever or down at the bottom in the base.
But there's a portion of society believes that I should have my say, even though I'm not qualified to say anything.
You just got to talk the loudest.
Yeah.
All you got to do is talk the loudest.
That is asinine.
Yeah.
And I grew up with this premise, and I was told, and I'm sure everybody from my age group was told the following: when in Rome, do as the Romans. It's going to provide you an easier path in that moment when you're in Rome.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't meant to discriminate. It wasn't meant to. It was just saying, don't make life any harder on you while you're in Rome. No, you're not going to live there, but while you're there, don't fuck with them.
Right.
Assimilate.
Blend, dude.
Yeah.
The topic of the day is blend in.
And I don't mean that in any weird way, but I mean, I have to say that because someone's going to look in on this and say, are you telling me that the kowtow to the majority? No, I'm saying do your best to survive in a strange land where you don't understand the culture. You may want to try to assimilate to get through it.
I love,
Sorry.
I love that. We're literally doing that episode of Seinfeld where they does the. He's like, oh, what is he, gay? It's not that there's anything wrong with that. No, you immediately have to bet. Everything you have to backtrack.
Everything you say. It's fucking crazy.
You have to explain. There's no simple answers for anything anymore. You have to
words became
explain your position.
Triggers, you see. When I talk about the minority and the majority, I'm talking about the mathematical mechanics of how we maneuver life in remedial shit. But when I say majority or minority, people go white, black, male, female. That's where the mind goes.
Right.
They don't listen to the rest of what I say. They'll just go to that.
They'll hear the one thing. Yeah, and all of a sudden you're getting an angry letter rated. It's like, that guy said this, and my mother had that.
But I got those sponsors, so honestly, fuck you. I don't care if you don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Eat shit.
Oh, man.
I don't want shoes. Keep them. I know where to get them.
So what's on the agenda for you, man? Like, what's you're back now. COVID's kind of, we were talking about we might be going back to some kind of restriction, maybe, possibly. I hope not.
Oh, that's not going to cause some static, right?
Oh, Christ, man.
That's either here or there.
Yeah, but we're somewhat back, right? Things are open. Chicago, the band Chicago just played at the Starlake. I saw that was kind of a big thing. It was their first big concert that was all 12 people were there. So. Yeah. That's a pretty big gathering.
Oh, yeah, the rest of them are on TV screens out in the fucking field or whatever and shit like that. It's like, all right, is this Terminator timeline? Why the hell is everybody a machine now? Yeah, no, I'm excited to be back out and see shows again, man. Concerts, anything, man. The one thing is definitely to do traveling, to definitely go to see other cities and try to, stake a claim in places I've like. One of the cities that I actually enjoyed going to not long ago was Philadelphia.
Oh, right on.
I actually enjoy Philly a lot.
The city of brotherly love. Do you find it full of brotherly love? Be honest.
I don't know. I had a guy yell at me. Driving around. It's like, I'm just like that guy. It's like, what a beautiful day out. It's like, get a room, home. It's like, all right. No, I enjoy it over there and stuff, man. They there's a nice comedy scene over there. There's a few people I've been able to bullshit with off and on here and there.
Right on.
It's just like,
right on.
But I definitely enjoy the atmosphere of the city. It's not terrible. I like the people are a lot. I mean,
just as long as they're not inside a sporting event.
I was gonna say
that's
absolutely.
The one. Yeah, it's like gladiators and shit. As soon as you enter the arena,
dude. I was bullshitting with a chick I know about. Because, wasn't it a long time ago that they had, I don't know which stadium it is, or arena, or whatever the hell it is. Don't they have a jail underneath, or a holding cell, or you can get processed all by the time
Veteran Stadium. That the Eagles and Phillies used to play in.
You can get processed before the half, and then be back out, fucking, whatever. It's just you're right. I was a lot.
Magistrate was there.
I shouldn't have called that guy that. But yeah, that's insane to me. It's I love sporting fans, or I love hardcore sports fans. The ones that are just because Philly gets a lot of that.
Oh, that's the most brutal city for sport. I mean,
they should be dressed like the Raiders. You figure it's okay, a bunch of warriors in here that are gonna fucking just really let you hear it or let you have it off of whatever because you didn't agree with. Well, I guess Carson Wentz is out of there now, but if you didn't agree with the way that play was run.
You see, Raiders fans are all talk and show. There's really no hardcore brutality there. Now, you Boston and Philly, those are two cities that
they're dressed like Hawk and fucking what's his name from the 80s from wrestling.
I mean, I think it's all show out for Raiders. I mean, but they're rooting for the Raiders. Really, how brutal could you possibly be?
Yeah, you're not exactly banging all cylinders to begin with.
And you're across the bay from San Francisco, so you're not probably the most hardcore of all cities. Oakland's no picnic, no prize, but I'm just saying in general. I mean, it isn't like going to a Flyers game.
Well, that's what I mean and stuff. It's hockey fans would probably just be I wouldn't go over that city if I could. It's just because of the rivalry and how intense it is.
Imagine wearing a Penguins jersey to a Flyers game in Philadelphia.
It would
you have to have balls. I mean, if you were with a group of people, maybe, but
there was an ex of mine or something. She was a huge Patriots fan. She really was more of a Brady fan than anything and stuff. But I'm trying to think. We were talking. She was also a Ravens fan. And she wanted to wear her Ravens jersey to the Steelers game. And I was just cool, if you want to have it us be you want to make a debacle out of this day and shit. It's I didn't come in here with my knuckles taped up. So, yeah, sure, why not? No, do that and see what happens. Because then, she's going to be the type that's just oh, yeah, my boyfriend said. It's no.
Yeah, I'd go over well.
He didn't say anything. He didn't say a single thing and shit. It's I think we need to express ourselves, by the way, and shit. I think the city of Baltimore needs to be on the radar a little more. If I'm being completely honest.
But you know what's crazy? Okay, so I'm an Oakland A's fan. I grew up loving the A's. So when they come to Pittsburgh every 3 years, I take my kid. Or 6 years we go. I got no problem wearing an A's jersey in the Pirate game. Nobody cares. No one's gonna razz you. No one's gonna say anything. No one even. You could be going in there naked. No one's gonna know. They're drunk because they know that there's no chance of winning, and they're just waiting for the free T-shirts being shot up at halftime. And
watching a mascot dislocate his shoulder, firing something up into the. It's like the PSI on this fucking thing to try to get it all.
Pirate fans don't give a shit.
No, they're asleep at the wheel.
You could do anything. Yeah, we would go in with Oakland stuff and no one would say it. I don't give a shit. But you try that like in the Yankee Stadium. You wear Red Sox stuff in the Yankee Stadium, right? You're looking to get bruised.
There will be a homicide.
Yeah, vice versa, same thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if you come, the one thing I loved, a buddy of mine's dad has Steelers season tickets. Mm-hmm. So every now and again I get to go to the game, which also I think is a problem because like I don't appreciate every now and again. Like you've gone enough where it's just like I don't appreciate the time if I got to just like it's like if I hadn't been to a Steeler game in 5 years, I'd just be like, yes, I get to fucking go. It's just like it's almost expected nowadays and shit. Great dude. Such a great guy for fucking even considering me in the first place to go to these things and shit. But he has amazing seats, and being able to go as often as we can, I feel like I do not appreciate it enough. But
probably,
yeah. But you'll never feel more out of place than being up in the because the game that we went to, we were up in me and a buddy of mine were up in the club seats or whatever and stuff, and you've never felt more out of space than I was just like they know that I don't belong here, and I can tell. It's like that fucking Tom Segura joke where it's just like you could sit with us, but we fucking know, because like there's like up there they got like they're serving sushi, they got a whole full liquor bar and stuff, they got whatever, it's just like filet mignon, they're ready to like serve it around like it's like
at a Steeler game. It's almost sacrilegious in a way. I mean, it's not what it used to be.
Hot dog, nachos, you have your own. The only one thing I'll get at a Steeler game is the permanis. Because the where he sits and shit, it's like down on the bottom, like right near we're like right behind where the kickers practice or whatever shit. So it's like we're sitting there. That's another story. But I'll get the permani sandwich and stuff while we're there. But otherwise, it's like, dude, it's hot dogs, nachos, and nothing, and whatever beer your choice.
Yeah, what is it with all these custom craft beers and like all these specialized food and my kid's like, Dad, I think I want a permani sandwich, a slice of pizza, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's the first time I ever took him. He was like 8. I'm like,
you don't know what not to do.
I remember there was a company called Avico who was like handled all the catering for Three River Stadium, right?
Right.
You got some sloppy hot dogs. Once in a while they'd have hamburgers, rare, but they would have them, and you'd have nachos and a bag of peanuts.
Yes. The peanuts is a staple.
That's it, man. That's all, and we were fine with that.
They have. If I saw somebody eating sushi at a fucking at a sporting event, let alone just a sporting event. I could be watching junior varsity women's volleyball or something, and some guy comes out with sushi. I'm gonna fucking put that on the goddamn ground. I'm just like, oh, dude, no way. I didn't realize they right up in the air. I'm gonna get taken out, but you know.
Yeah, probably. It can't be any worse than these.
I think I'd have an argument. I think I'd have an argument with the cops while I'm face down on the hood. Be like, no, he fucking had nigiri. He's eating nigiri in the like you didn't hear. Yeah, but
what about like gas station? These assholes eat gas station sushi and brag about it. Like, you got a death wish?
You're gonna test positive. You're gonna test positive for whatever the fuck it is.
People do that.
Yeah, they're also it's the same people that are also going and looking at the hot dog that's been on the fucking roller for like 10 hours and just be like, you know what? I am vaccinated. I could probably. So yeah, that's a whole other breed of person.
That's the internet that does that, right? They kids were eating Tide Pods a couple years ago. Remember
it's the next, it's whatever the hell it is and shit. It's like, I know. It's natural. I've never seen natural selection being fucking brought out. Brought more thoroughly and shit.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it's 100%, dude. There's no way that somebody goes and just like in the mouth. That's a warning that a fucking 3. There's a reason why I just like don't leave in the vicinity of kids.
But they're so colorful. Is that what it is?
Like, they're pretty. I get it. They sparkle and shit. Listen, I see the appeal. I get it. It glows in the dark, probably, whatever shit. It doesn't go right in the mouth. Whoever's doing that shit, their entire house has to be like, padding in every sharp corner in the house. You can't leave packing peanuts around them because that's going to go in the mouth. It's like, you stop. Who the fuck is coming up with this? It has to be. It has to be somebody who's just like, I told one guy because I don't like that guy, and then he told other people, and now they're all doing. It's like, this is supposed to be for one person. This is for one person, and now they're all like, word of mouth is spreading. So
But that just goes to show how
do the
goddamn
challenge.
stupid a portion of our society is really not playing with a full deck.
I'll tell you what, Eric.
Really?
Sometimes it looks like God's really picking his targets. He's sizing up. He's sizing up a couple people. Just
You
be
think?
like, that guy.
It might be.
Oh, look at all the weather we've been having and shit in this city and stuff. It's like there can't be.
Dude, every day.
The other day,
AC furnace.
Yeah, the other day or whatever, they started sending me back to the office because
Okay.
we're doing the hybrid. Everybody's
Yeah.
doing the hybrid thing or whatever shit. It's like,
yeah.
and the favorite part of my day was not going in to see anybody. I reveled in it, but
bet.
I understand how people were just like, it's good now. I'm being absolutely dramatic about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I go in like 2 days a week and shit versus out of 5.
Okay.
So I can. It's good because it does kind of break the week up.
Okay.
And you're out of the house for a little bit and this and that and shit.
Right.
The one day we're in the office, and I think it was like on a Tuesday, I can hear what sounds like the world ending outside, and it's just thunder going off. I look outside, completely sunny day. I'm just like, was somebody testing a new, like, were there barges and shit that were banging against each other and shit? Did somebody get a hold of a gun they shouldn't have?
What was it?
It's thunder. It was just the weather, but it was bright and shiny. How many times have we been in
Yeah.
the city where there's rain
Yeah.
and the sun is perfectly out, and you're just like, I don't know what makes sense anymore.
That's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's Pittsburgh.
We live in a geographical oddity.
Well, this valley is just weird in many ways. It's humid in the summer, and it's always fucking gray.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about traveling. I come home, and I'm like, wow, like, this is right. The skies were blue where I was. We get that, like, 2 days out of the year.
Yeah, I just came from a screensaver, and now I'm here, and this fucking sucks. Now I'm miserable. I'm going to just punch the windshield and shit. Yeah.
I wonder what the suicide rate is in Pittsburgh compared to other cities. I mean, it's a weird stat. But
We got
I
enough
wonder.
bridges, right?
Right.
Pick one and-
Exactly. But I wonder, though, because then skies are always gray here. I think Seattle has a high when it's always raining and gray up there, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but our skies are always gray. Always gray.
Yeah.
And we have the Pirates. I mean, we've got to have some
We're
significant
moody.
suicide
We're all
numbers,
moody.
right?
People are looking for a way out.
You have a good time?
Oh, I had a great time, man. This is fucking terrific.
You gotta come back and see me, brother.
Oh, dude, I got to talk more music with you. I absolutely got to talk more music with you.
We're gonna
Bands.
do that.
I know you got tons of good stories and shit from being just having your
Yeah,
fucking...
I do panel shows on here eventually, or not eventually, on a regular basis too. Would you up to doing something like that?
I'd 100%. Oh, bouncing your ideas off every people?
Yeah, just having
all-
just craziness.
Yeah. Oh, pandemonium. Let's get into it.
Oh, Christ Almighty! So you're back playing in Pittsburgh. Like, do you have any dates coming up? We're talking to you at the end of July.
Oh, I was gonna say, I got a show going on together right now. It's so my buddy's bar out in Porky's Bar and Grill out in Etna.
That was a great movie when I was an adolescent. By the way, there was 3 of them.
It's usually a follow up. I have to tell
The first
people.
one was great. The other 2 kind of like just.
Well, the first one's a staple. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's the same as if like the iconic scenes from the movie and shit. So
Yes,
it's
the peephole.
Yeah. Porky's Bar and Grill out in Etna. Great people. They're doing great shit for the town. They're doing great shit
Right.
for a bunch of charities and stuff. They're constantly getting so much goddamn money, and they're really doing their part for the community. August 20th.
Okay.
I got Filthy Pig comedy. We're gonna go out there. You're gonna hear some shit. You're gonna really
Filthy Pig comedy.
Yes. So
I gotta make that one.
I got a bunch of people coming out, a bunch of guys that are just they leave it all out on the field. So, but it's definitely the type of atmosphere where it's knowing the audience.
Yeah, right on.
I'm good friends with everybody out
Right
there.
on.
They've been great to me. I've been
Right on.
doing my part to pay it forward as best I can and shit. That's like I think I'm down a little bit and shit, but I'm trying to trudge up
Filthy Pig.
It's going to be a good show.
Okay.
I'm excited for it. and
I
shit.
can't. I got an idea now. You should warn everybody.
Yeah,
up
it's like,
front.
not for the faint of heart. There's gonna be some stuff. All right. It's gonna
August
cost-
20th?
August 20th. It's a Friday. Porky's Bar and Grill.
All right.
They usually have shows and stuff there all the time.
Right on.
They're pretty good, man. They
Yeah.
got a bunch of local bands and everything.
Okay.
It's never not a good time.
Cool.
So
All right,
I'd love
man.
to see you, brother.
Come back and see me. I'm gonna be there for sure.
For sure, man.
All right,
I can't wait.
friends. We're out.
Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.